Welcome to the Sports Beer Jokes YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about the greatest franchise in the history of sports, my favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. If you're the kind of guy that likes watching sports, drinking beer, and joking around with your boys or girls, we don't discriminate. It's actually kind of a sausage party right now, but this is probably the place for you. So consider subscribing and joining the best sports community on this app. And in a few short months, you'll be able to brag to your friends that you were on Sports Beer Jokes before the fame. So without further ado, let's talk some Saints football, baby. Now, the Saints are currently in the middle of fighting the mid allegations. Now, I definitely feel somewhat responsible for that. If you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, you know that I have not been a fan of a lot of the moves that we've made, particularly choosing to continue with Dennis Allen and Derek Carr. A lot of people, including myself, have accused the Saints of just being content with mediocrity. And honestly, it does seem that way in a lot of ways. In the 2 years under Dennis Allen, we've gone 7-10 and 9-8 and haven't made the playoffs in the easiest division in football. The Saints have desperately tried to cling on to what remains from that window when we were really good back in the late 2010s. But anybody who knows ball knows that Drew Brees and Sean Payton were the two pieces that made that system run as well as it did. We've also lost a lot of key guys on both sides of the ball that made those teams so elite. And considering the fact that a lot of the guys who are still around are getting considerably older, this team has just been extremely mid. All good things come to an end, right? Wrong. Because this video is a Saints video, baby. So let me just drop some ball knowledge into your casual head. This is why the Saints are actually going to be a damn good football team in 2024. And why us Saints fans should be fired up about the future of our beloved franchise. So let's start things off with taking a look at the roster. At quarterback, obviously, we're rocking with Carr once again. Last year, if you're just a box score watcher, you wouldn't think Carr was that bad. But if you actually, know ball and watch the games, you know that it was a lot of empty yards and garbage time touchdowns. Too many times last season would Carr march us all the way down the field into the red zone just for us to stall out or throw a pick or do some bullshit that just pissed me off. And then Carr would start yelling at one of our receivers or one of our linemen as if it's not his fucking fault that he sucks. But what I think is really important is the fact that we brought in Clint Kubiak to be our new offensive coordinator. For the past 2 seasons, our OC has been Pete Carmichael, who's the same guy from the Sean Payton era. But we all know that Sean Payton was the real offensive coordinator. We gave Carmichael a chance to prove that he could do it without Payton, and he failed us. You have failed me for the last time, Carmichael. Now, I could just go list off Clint Kubiak's history and tenure as an offensive coach, but I'm not going to do that. And the reason I'm not going to do that is because I don't bullshit you over here at Sports Beer Jokes. I don't know if this dude's going to be good. No one does. What I do know is humans. I know humans. I know people. Oftentimes in life, the best way to improve a shit situation is just to bring in fresh faces. And that's exactly what we did. And Carr's a veteran quarterback. He can figure this shit out. And it's not like he's doing it without any weapons. Chris Olave is one of the best young receivers in football. Rashid Shaheed is one of the most underrated young receivers in football. We still got Alvin Kamara, who's aging like wine. Juwan Johnson's actually a pretty damn good receiving tight end. And Taysom Hill's a Swiss Army knife. The most glaring weakness on this unit, though, is definitely the offensive line. Ryan Ramczyk, who's been an absolute stud for us since 2017, has gone through surgery this offseason, and it honestly looks like he might retire. We also had a really bad miss on Trevor Penning in the 2021 draft. Dude's just a straight-up bum. He can't play.
If you would have asked me what's my favorite thing about football, just ask that.
What is your favorite thing about football?
Legally assaulting the person across from me.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But we did address this weakness in the draft by picking Talisi Fuaga. Obviously, he's a rookie, so it's impossible to know how good he actually is going to be, but hey, at least we're trying. This O-line isn't going to be great, but I think it can be serviceable. And that's kind of the story of this entire offensive unit. I don't need you to be 2019 LSU, bruh, but can you play mistake-free football? Can you finish top half of the league in terms of production? Can you capitalize on red zone opportunities? Please. We haven't gone over our defense yet, but spoiler alert, it's pretty fucking good. If we can just play complimentary football, we can be in a really good spot. And with the weapons we have and a veteran quarterback and a new offensive coordinator, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be able to do that. But let's say Carr's not getting it done. Let's say he's still not able to rally the troops, capitalize on advantageous opportunities, and lead an above-average offense. Who dat nation? we still have hope. And it comes in the form of Spencer Rattler. We spent a day 3 draft pick on him, and guys, this is a super talented player. Former 5-star. This is a guy who was in Heisman talks preseason not that long ago. Now, I get it, his college career wasn't all that spectacular, but shit happens, bro. I've heard rumors that the reason why he fell so far in the draft was because of that last chance he kind of came off like a brat. I'm not gonna speak on that. I'm not an NFL GM or an NFL insider or anything like that, so I don't know shit. But what I do know is that his coaches from South Carolina praise him tremendously. So this dude was a fucking brat when he was 17. Who wasn't? He's a grown man now, and he's a damn good football player, and he probably has a chip on his shoulder. This is the first time in Spencer Rattler's career where people are doubting him. If Carr comes out the first half of the season and shits the bed again, we should put Rattler in the game. Who knows what could happen? What I want my fellow Saints fans to do is look at the last 5 games of last season. We were able to win 4 out of the last 5. Now, obviously, we were beating up on some pretty shitty teams. I'm not going to act like we were out here beating any Super Bowl contenders, but I do think it's important to point out the formula that we won these games with. As a unit, we kind of started to figure out the complementary football that I was talking about. We had a +7 turnover differential during that stretch of games, and if you actually watch the games, and I did, and I remember them, our offense was able to capitalize on the favorable situations our defense put them in. Now, with the improvements that we've made on offense, hopefully we can carry that momentum into 2024 and do it for a whole season's worth. But let's look at this defense, shall we? It all starts with Dennis Allen. Obviously, a lot of Saints fans don't believe in him as a head coach, but you are out of your mind if you don't believe in him as a defensive coordinator. This dude knows how to coach defense. And as long as he's our head coach, we are gonna have a great defense, especially considering the roster we're coming in with this year. Let's start with the big boys up front. In what could potentially be the last year of an absolutely phenomenal career, Cam Jordan is coming back, and he isn't the pass rusher he used to be, but according to Pro Football Focus, he's still a damn good run defender, a great veteran leader for the team, and just the kind of culture guy you want on your squad. We also got Carl Granderson, who definitely isn't nationally recognized yet, but Saints fans know who this guy is. He's pretty good. Coming off an 8.5 sack year and could potentially break out. Who knows? But perhaps the biggest move of the offseason was bringing in Chase Young on a 1-year deal. Freak athlete, former number 2 overall pick. Everybody knows the potential that this guy has to be an elite player. He just hasn't been able to string it together thus far. But he's on a 1-year prove-it deal with a defensive-minded coach and a really good defensive roster around him. This is the year where he officially arrives as one of the premier pass rushers in the NFL. Book it. We also got Brian Bresee, who's a young player with a lot of promise. A talented and deep defensive line. Great start. Now let's move to the second level. Who are our linebackers? Demario Davis, Pete Werner, and Willie Gay. Oh my goodness. Suffocate them. Suffocate them. All over the damn field, a bunch of rogues. Atlanta Falcons. You aren't gonna know what hit you, pal. Get the damn brooms out. All 3 of these guys can go sideline to sideline. A great linebacking core. I'd argue one of the best in the NFL. Demario Davis, despite being older than Master Yoda, still somehow plays at an elite level. Pete Werner, despite coming from the soft-ass Big Ten, plays like he's from the SEC. And now Willie Gay has swag surfed his way down all the way to the Big Easy to complete the Big 3. So the defense is batting 1,000 so far. Let's look at the secondary. And our DBs are actually the strongest position group on the team. Marshawn Lattimore is one of the premier cornerbacks in the NFL. Paulson Adebo is not that far away from joining him in that club. And Alante Taylor is a great slot cornerback. At free safety, we got college football legend, 3-time All-Pro, Pro Football Hall of Fame's All-Decade team for the 2010s, the damn Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. And as is a theme on this team, despite his age, he's still playing great ball. And we lost Marcus May, but Jordan Howden should be able to fill that other safety position. But I forgot to mention one thing. Kool-Aid McKinstry, baby. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah!
But seriously, I'm actually fired up about this draft pick. Another first-round elite talent on the back end of our defense. Another toy for Dennis Allen to play with. Pause. But we have an insanely deep group of defensive backs. Locking that shit up, baby. Top to bottom, our defense has no weaknesses. We have a great roster and a great defensive coach. We should be one of the best units in the league. So there's the roster. Obviously, the strength of the team is undoubtedly the defense. I want Saints fans to look at it this way, though. We're an above 500 team at 9-8 that improved improved on both sides of the ball this offseason. On offense, we got a new OC bringing in that 49ers Kyle Shanahan style of offense. We addressed our biggest weakness in the first round by picking what a lot of people believe to be a home run draft pick. We have a veteran quarterback with underrated weapons and a stellar defense. Our wide receiver room is deep, bro. I only named 2 of them, but we also have A.T. Perry, who's probably going to be our wide receiver 3. We also brought in Cedric Wilson, and in the 5th round, we drafted this dude named Bub Means, who could absolutely fly. Like I said earlier, it all depends on if we can figure out how to play that complementary style of football. We know our defense is going to give us a chance to win. Can our offense dominate time of possession, play mistake-free, and be opportunistic? That's a winning formula, boys, and I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be able to play that way. Let's look at the schedule. Now, I really hate doing this at this time of year because it's really impossible to know how good these teams actually are going to be. But according to my calculations, I think there are 7 guaranteed wins for the Saints this year, assuming we sweep the Panthers and split with both the Falcons and the Bucs. And this is actually right about where Vegas has us, so I wonder how they calculate that. That leaves 10 games left, so let's decide how many of these are toss-ups versus automatic L's. The first automatic L that I immediately saw was the Chiefs at Arrowhead on Monday Night Football. I'm sorry, we're not winning that game. For week 2 and week 3, we got the Cowboys and the Eagles back-to-back. I think there's a scenario where we go 1-1. I also think there's a scenario where we go 0-2, but I don't think there's a scenario where we go 2-0. So I'm going to put one of these as an automatic L and the other one as a toss-up. Doesn't matter which one, I think there's a chance we win either of these games. For weeks 7 and 8, we have the Broncos and the Chargers back-to-back. I can see a world where we win both of these games and also a world where we lose both these games. So I'm going to put both of them as toss-ups. Week 11, Browns at home. We should win that game, but knowing the Saints, I'm going to put it as a toss-up as well. Now, these 5 straight weeks immediately following our bye week, I think we have a chance to go 5-0. I actually think we can realistically finish the regular season on a crazy win streak. The Rams and Packers are both tough games. I don't think we win both, so I'm going to do one's an L and one's a toss-up. And that just leaves the road Falcons and Bucs games, and we said we were going to split them, so to be fair, let's just mark them as L's. Even though I do think we could sweep both those teams. That leaves 5 toss-up games. Of course, it's an odd number. So let's say we go 3-2 in toss-up games. We're 10-6. If we go 2-3, we're 9-8, which is right back where we started. But look, at the end of the day, none of this really matters. No one really knows how these games are going to unfold. We just did that part for fun, because come on, we're Sports Beer Jokes. We like to have fun around here. The bottom line is, I think people are sleeping on what this team could be. I've said it ad nauseum, but I'm going to say it one more time because it's my final thesis. If this team can figure out how to play that complementary ball control style of football, we can be a damn good team. We can win 10 or 11 games and then win the easiest division in football and host a wild card game. And then at that point, it's just, can we get hot? It's single elimination. That's the beauty of the NFL. Am I a delusional Saints fan? Almost certainly. But do I love Who Dat Nation? Fucking A right I do. Sports Beer Jokes. Come on.